Well, hello vintage outboard motor fans. This is T-Mike here on Toledo Bend Lake. It's Sunday afternoon. Means NFL football's on TV. I'm a New Orleans Saints fan. I'm watching them play the game here, and I got my mind on outboard motors. I can't help it. It's almost halftime, so I'm working on a motor here. I'm working on a 1969 6 horsepower Evinrude from Melanie, and I'm having trouble with the spark. I rebuilt the Magneto, everything brand new, and I only got spark on one side. Got spark on the top, not on the bottom. So halftime's about to hit. I'm gonna take you over to my shop, and we're gonna work on my spark problem. See if we can diagnose the problem. Oh, we just completed a pass out of bounds. It's almost halftime. We're driving down the score. We're winning 9-7. Against the Carolina Panthers. So we'll see. Not having a real good season this year, but we got a lot of injuries. Hoping to come back. Who dat gonna be them Saints? Who dat? All right, let's go work on an ignition problem on my Magneto on 1969 6 horsepower. If everybody's ready, here we go. All right, here's Melanie motor. A beautiful restore. I took her completely apart, painted, rebuilt everything, in the process of getting her back together. Put the Magneto on. I got the spark checker set up here, and I'm going to pull the rope. Only have spark on the top cylinder. Only on the top cylinder, not on the bottom. So I'm gonna go through the troubleshooting process with you right here. Remember, I rebuilt this Magneto, all right? Everything is brand new on it, and I tested, ohmed everything out, and tested everything before I put it on here. So it ought to be good, and I'm gonna make a prediction here. I've gone through this before. I mean, 9 out of 10 times when I do these rebuilds, the Magnetos give spark. This one didn't. The problem I normally find is the connection where the spark wire goes into the boot. It's a screw-on coil. If you don't hit dead center on it and you only have a partial connection, it'll measure out. It'll ohm out. But when you try to run current through it for spark, it's not enough connection. So if I go through this thing and everything measures good, I'm going to take that coil off on the bottom one and clip it and re-screw it on and put it back in and see if I get spark. This is a live shoot. It may not be the trouble. We're going to find out though. Just one thing about my videos, I'm honest. I don't cover up anything. Everything comes out the way it comes out. So I'm going to go through the testing process, show you what you should do if you have this problem. And then if everything measures out good and ohms good, then I'm going to check that connection where the spark wire goes into the coil. Alright, so let's go through. I'm going to remove the flywheel. I don't have it torqued all the way down. I'll be able to just tap it off and then start disconnecting wires and measuring voltages and go over it with you. Here we go. It's halftime. I'm going to keep you updated. It's 13-10. The Saints are winning. We got a shot. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna move you in closer. I got all the spark leads removed. I do have to remove the ground lead. Okay, got all the leads disconnected. Let's go through the measurements. Here's how you measure. So starting with the top coil, the one facing you, you take the 2 leads coming off of the coil. All right, they should measure between 1 and 3 ohms. Put your meter on ohms and look at the measurement. Stopped at 1.9 ohms. So it's 1.9 ohms, that's the primary lead. And then you go out to the end of the wire, stick your meter in. That's the secondary winding. It should be between 3 and 10,000. 9,920. 9,920. So that's good. And we had spark on that side. So let's measure the bottom coil. Take the 2 leads. Remember, between 1 and 3 ohms. And it's 1.9 ohms. So that side's good. Now let's go down to the bottom coil. Stick our voltmeter in. It should be between 3 and 10,000. And it's 9,740. So the wiring's good. I set the points properly. I know they're right. We can go over it again though. The way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna put my nut back on. Take a wrench. Turn it clockwise. There's on the cam, there's a mark that says top. I'm gonna put that top right on the rubber pusher of the top points. I'm gonna take a feeler gauge set at 0.020, 20 thousandths, and I'm gonna run it in between the points till it just touches both sides. And if it's off for adjustment, there's your adjustment screw to adjust it in or out. I know it's set, and I've cleaned it with some 1000 grit, so I know it's clean. I'm gonna take my tool, I'm gonna move the top, that top on the cam, I'm gonna move it to the rubber pusher on this set of points. Take my 20 thousandths feeler gauge and run it through there, and it just touches both sides. And again, I cleaned it with 1000 grit sandpaper. So everything looks good. I see no reason why we shouldn't have spark on the bottom. So, as I said, I'm gonna take this off, set it on my bench, and I'm gonna redo that spark connection right here on the spark plug. If you don't hit it dead in the center, there's no way you can see when you push that wire in and screw it on. You can't see that it's dead center. So I just clip it and redo it and set it back on here and see if we don't have spark. So let's go with that. All right, I'm gonna take the 4 screws that hold the magneto in place. Got the 4 screws undone. Gotta take my nut. No, I don't have to take my nut off. I think it'll come off. It ought to come off around that nut. Yeah, it does. Alright, got the mag plate removed. I'm gonna redo that connection on the spark on this coil, the bottom coil. Okay, I got the mag here. I'm gonna undo the clamps on the bottom so I can get to this bottom coil and redo that connection right there. Here we go. pull it out and redo it. Right, now I'm going to ohm out the spark wires to make sure here's the bottom one, 9,000 ohms. And here's the top one, 10,000 ohms. Okay, so now I'm going to put all the wires back together. Okay, so I snipped a little piece off of the spark plug wire on the bottom cylinder and redid the connection. Let's go put it back on the 6 horsepower, see if that did the spark.
It's not pain, it was all functionality, and it was really loss of strength. And so I think you can see from this game plan just what Derek Carr can and can't do, and they were waiting all week just kind of seeing what he could do. And you know, you got to build a game plan based around what your quarterback can do. If he can't really push the ball down the field, you know, then you're going to have this. And don't forget, we've talked about all along, the injuries to the receiving corps.
No doubt. Over 3rd down and 7, play clock down number 5. Carr out of the gun. Carr going toward the end zone. Leaping grab. It is caught. Touchdown, Saints. Moreau made the leaping reception and will make sure he got his feet in bounds. 17 yards. Going toward the end zone, leaping grab, it is caught, touchdown Saints.
Okay, I got the mag installed, back installed. I got my spark checker hooked to it. Put my spark checker hooked up to it. I'm gonna put the flywheel. And I'm gonna give her a pull, see if I got spark. Well, that wasn't the trouble. Redid that connection, didn't do it. So now I'm gonna start swapping parts between the top and bottom and try to make spark. Trouble with either move or fix it. I'm gonna start it with the condensers. I'm gonna swap the two condensers and then check for spark. Okay, I swapped condensers and the trouble is still in the bottom cylinder. Top's got spark, bottom doesn't. So before I made the video, I had swapped the points already. So I'll swap points, I checked the connection on the coil, and I'll swap condensers. I think the next step is to change the coil. I'm gonna put a new coil in that bottom one now and see if that'll fix it. It's a tough one. Sometimes they're not easy. Okay, I'll swap the coils. You can see this one was on the top. Now it's on the bottom. This one was on the bottom, it's on the top. So I'll swap the two coils. Let's put the flywheel on it and see if the trouble moved. No, still have spark on top, not on the bottom. Okay, so let's review. I changed the points on the bottom, didn't fix it. I swapped the condensers, didn't move the trouble. I swapped the coils, it didn't move the trouble. So I guess I could swap the points. And then the only thing I haven't changed would be the spark wire itself. So let's swap the points between top and bottom, see if we can move the trouble. That'll be the next one. Man, this is getting tougher and tougher. Okay, so before I swap points between the top and bottom, I'm gonna try cleaning and resetting the points on the bottom and see if I can get spark to start. So here we go with that. Okay, so here's the top. I'm going to use a points file and some grit. Okay, now let's put it back together, see if I got spark. Nope, still no spark. So now I'm gonna swap sides, swap the points and see if that'll do it. All right, I'll swap the points between the sides, reset them, clean them. Let's see if I get spark on both sides, or if the trouble moved. I'm gonna try putting a spark plug on it and see if it sparks. No, I get spark on the top and not on the bottom. This is crazy. It's crazy. Only thing I haven't changed is the spark wire itself. I redid the connection and I redid the connection on the boot end, but didn't change the spark wire. So I'm gonna pull the mag off and replace the spark wire on the bottom and see if I can get spark. It's crazy. Here we go. Well, I have a surprise ending to this video, and it's the answer to a lot of questions for me and for a lot of my subscribers that tune in. So I get questions all the time about the two different ways to set the points on these motors. The one way is to use the feeler gauge, the .020 20 thousandths feeler gauge, and rotate the cam till it gets to the top. And mark that says top on here, on the top and bottom coil. When you rotate it there, set the gap to 20 thousand. That's one way, and that's the way I'll set this one, all right? And I'll do that all the time, and I get good spark. This is the first time I don't get good spark. The other way to do it is to use this timing tool, set it on the cam, and they got a top and a bottom. And you rotate it in between the two marks right here on the flywheel for the T, and then use a voltmeter to make sure the point's open right at that point where it gets in between those two marks. And I have plenty of videos on that. Well, when I did this, the setting this way on the motor, I got spark on both sides, and it was weak on the top before, and now it's strong on both sides. So the answer to this problem was setting the points using the timing tool. I've always told my subscribers that question me about the difference in them, that it doesn't matter, either one will work, it's not that critical. Well, on this motor it was that critical. This timing tool is the way to do it, and that's the answer to solving the problem on this motor. And by the way, I am designing and making my own timing tool. Got my engineers up in Chicago. I sent them this OMC timing tool, and they made one just like it. And that's actually the tool I used on here, so it's going to be for sale pretty soon on my website. I want to make sure they got the design just perfect before I do it. All right. So, in conclusion, the problem with the spark on this Melanie 6 horsepower motor was setting the timing using the feeler gauge. When I set it using the timing tool, it worked. And I'm gonna move you up close right here to finish the video and show you the spark that I have. So as you can see, I got good spark on both sides, so I'm good to go and keep moving on this. So hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. It's just an example of how when I run trouble on these things and I make the video, I don't skip any parts. What the end result ends to be. And we have discovered something new. I have, and all of you should take this as a lesson. Timing tool is a better way to set the points. I'm going to use my timing tool all the time now. All right, hope y'all enjoyed the video. See y'all next time. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. If you did, hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button and catch all my videos. You know, my passion are these vintage outboard motors. Johnson and Evinrude, 1950s, 60s, and 70s, 3 horsepower to 18 horsepower. I think I have all the videos, over 500 videos, on everything you need to know to repair, service, and restore your vintage outboard motors. I have all the parts, all the videos, and all the parts manuals for you to do that. I love what I do. The best way to reach me is on my website, tmikesvintageoutboards.com. You go to that website, I have links for everything you need. I have links for all the parts you need. If you don't know the parts you need, there's a link called the Parts Broker where you can fill out the form and submit it to me, and I'll find your part for you. All right. I also have a link for a mail-in repair service where you can ship me your carburetor, your gear case, or your Magneto. I'll repair it, video it, put it on YouTube, and ship it back to you. I also have a link for technical consulting. If you have a question, just fill out the link. There's a donation page if you want to help pay T-Mike, and I'll answer your question and get back to you. That's the best way to reach me, is on my website, tmikesvintageoutboards.com. I love what I do. It's been a great ride, and remember, always remember, and never forget, here at T-Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time.